Hello everyone, and welcome to video 3 in supporting your teen through EBSA, the daily reality. Welcome back. I'm Jean from Inspired Education Coaching, and this is the third video in my series on EBSA, or Emotionally Based School Avoidance, in secondary school students. In the first video, we talked about recognising EBSA. In the second, we covered those crucial first steps when your teen won't go to school. Today, I want to talk about something nobody really prepares you for, the daily reality of living with EBSA. Because this isn't something that gets resolved in a week or a month. For many families, this becomes your life for a while, and you need strategies that work for the long haul, not just for getting through one crisis morning. So let's talk about managing mornings without them becoming a battlefield, about keeping connection with your child when education feels impossible, and crucially, about looking after yourselves when you're running on empty. Mornings without battles. Let's start with mornings, because for families dealing with EBSA, mornings are often the most difficult part of the day. Here's what I've learned from working with hundreds of families. You cannot win a battle over school attendance. You can force your child into the car, but you can't force them to engage in learning when they get there. You can shout and threaten and plead, but all you'll achieve is damaging your relationship and increasing their distress. So we need a different approach. Lower your expectations of what ready for school looks like. Maybe it's not full uniform, showered, breakfast eaten, bag packed. Maybe it's tracksuit bottoms, dry shampoo, cereal bar in the car, and whatever books they can grab. Getting them there matters more than getting them there perfectly. Build in extra time. I know mornings are already tight, but the pressure of we have to leave now when your child is struggling to move just makes everything worse. Get up earlier if you can. Yes, I know it's exhausting, but that removes one extra layer of resistance. Have a plan for the bad days. What's your if we really can't do this today option? Reduce timetable, arriving late and missing registration, aiming for one specific lesson they can manage. Having that plan takes away the all or nothing panic. Use fewer words. When your teen is dysregulated, long explanations about why school matters or lectures about responsibility aren't helpful. Time to get up. I'll be back in 5 minutes. That's it. Less talking, more calm presence. Identify the bottleneck. For some teens, it's getting out of bed. For others, it's getting dressed or eating breakfast or getting in the car. Work out where your child gets stuck and put extra support there. Don't spread your energy across the whole morning. Focus on where it's needed most. Celebrate the small wins. They got up on time, even if they then refused to get dressed. That's progress. They got dressed, even if they then couldn't face breakfast. That's progress. When you're in EBSA, you're working in tiny increments. Acknowledge them. And sometimes the morning just goes badly. They can't do it, you can't make it work, and that's when you need to make a call about whether today is a we're going anyway day or we're going to stay at home day. There's no perfect formula for that. You know your child. You know what they can handle. Trust your judgment. When they're not in school, right. So let's talk about the days they don't make it in, or the afternoons when they're home when they should be in school, because this brings up a lot of guilt and anxiety for parents. Should I let them sleep? Should I make them do schoolwork? Should I let them have screens? Am I making this worse by rewarding their avoidance? Here's my take. First, they're not avoiding school because home is more fun. They're avoiding school because school has become unbearable. Making home miserable doesn't make school more bearable. It just makes them more miserable. Let them rest. Genuinely, if they need sleep, let them sleep. If they need to zone out watching TV, let them. Their nervous system is exhausted from chronic stress. They need to recover. Yes, I know it looks like doing nothing, but regulating their nervous system is doing something, and it is essential. Don't force academic work. I know you're worried about them falling behind, but trying to force a distressed, dysregulated child to do quadratic equations or Tudor history is futile and damaging. They can't learn when they are in survival mode. If they want to do schoolwork, and some do, because they're anxious about being left behind, support that, but don't push it. Focus on connection, not education. Can you watch something together? Can you cook together? Go for a walk? Play a game? The relationship is more important than the algebra homework. Remember what that researcher, Cheryl Ann Parkhurst, asked. Who is my kid's next safe person after me? Right now, you might be their only safe person, and that relationship is everything. But also maintain some structure, not rigid school at home structure, but some rhythm to the day, meal times, getting dressed at some point, fresh air if possible. Some predictability helps when everything else seems chaotic. And talk about the elephant in the room. At some point, not in the middle of a crisis, but when things are calmer, you need to acknowledge this situation isn't working long term. We need to work out what comes next. Because even though today might be a rest day, you can't let weeks turn into months without a plan. Keeping connection when everything feels impossible. One of the hardest things about EBSA is what it does to your relationship with your child. Suddenly, every conversation seems to circle back to school. Every interaction has tension in it. You're no longer mum or dad, who they come to with their silly stories or their excitement about things. You're the person trying to make them do the thing they can't do. And that hurts for both of you. So how do you keep the connection? Ring fence some school-free time. Decide. Thursday evenings, we don't talk about school. Or Sunday mornings, or whenever. And in that time, you're just mum and dad and child hanging out. No agenda. No, we need to talk about Monday. Just being together. Find the things that still bring them joy. Maybe they've dropped all their activities. Maybe they've withdrawn from friends. But there might be something, gaming, baking, a particular TV show, time with the dog, whatever. Lean into that, because that is where connection lives. Apologise when you get it wrong, because you will get it wrong. You'll lose your temper. You'll say something you regret. You'll push when you should have backed off. That's okay. You're human and you're stressed. But apologise. I'm sorry I shouted this morning. I was frustrated and scared, but that wasn't fair on you. Modelling repair is powerful. Tell them you love them, even when things are awful, especially when things are awful. I love you. This is hard, and I don't always know what to do, but I love you, and we will work it out. They need to know that your love isn't conditional on them going to school, and listen for what they are not saying. Sometimes the biggest struggles come out sideways. A comment about a teacher, a throwaway line about feeling stupid, a joke about not mattering. These aren't nothing. These are windows into what really is going on. the guilt, the judgment, the isolation. I need to talk about this because nobody else does. The emotional toll on you as a parent. The guilt is crushing, isn't it? You're wondering what you did wrong, whether you were too soft or too hard or too absent or too present, whether this is somehow your fault. Let me be really clear. This is not your fault. EBSA happens because a young person's needs aren't being met by the education system and because they're experiencing genuine distress. It's not because you made the wrong choices or weren't a good enough parent. But then there's the judgment from other people, family members who think you just need to be firmer, friends who don't understand why you don't just make them go, school staff who implying you're enabling avoidance, the look from the neighbour when your teen's obviously gone home on a Tuesday afternoon. That judgment compounds the guilt and makes you feel even more alone. And the isolation is real. You can't make plans because you don't know if your child will manage school that day. You're missing work. You're cancelling on friends. Other parents are talking about exam prep and university visits, and your child can't even get to registration. So what do you do with all of this? Get support. I can't say this enough. Whether it's a friend, a therapist, a coach, a support group, you need people who get it and who won't judge you. The isolation makes everything worse. Let go of other people's opinions. Easier said than done, I know, but you're the one living this. You're the one who sees your child's distress. Other people's judgment is based on their ignorance, not your family's reality. What matters is what's best for your child, not what other people think you should be doing. Accept help when it's offered. If someone offers to drop off dinner, say yes. If someone offers to just listen, say yes. Do things that fill your cup, even small things, a walk, a coffee with a friend, reading a book, whatever makes you feel like yourself. It's not selfish, it's necessary. Let go of perfection. Your house might be a mess. You might be eating more takeaways than you'd like. You might be not the parent you imagined you'd be. That's okay. You're doing the best you can in a really difficult situation. Living with EBSA isn't a sprint. It is a marathon, and you need strategies that are sustainable, not just for getting through one crisis morning, but for the long haul. In the next video, the last in this series, I'm going to talk about moving forward, working with schools, alternative education options, and knowing when back to school isn't actually the right goal. But for now, if you're in the thick of this daily reality, remember, you are not alone. Thousands of families are going through this, and you're doing better than you think you are. If you haven't already downloaded my free guide, Understanding EBSA, A Parent's Guide to Supporting Your Secondary Student, the link's in the description. It's got more detail on all of these tools and you can use it right away. And if this is helping you, subscribe to the channel and share it with other parents who might need it. You've got this. Even on the days when it doesn't feel like it, you have got this. See you in the next video.